Good morning and welcome to the Better Thyself segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. The worry of the parents is always to raise children, and the children, the hope of the parents, and the future citizens of any country or of the world at large, have to have a well-rounded personality, a personality that is well adjusted to themselves and to the society in which they move. Unfortunately, there are many misgivings, and the result is that there is always a gap between the expectations and what we have. And as a matter of fact, the generation gap, what we call, is because we do not raise well-adjusted children. Now, I believe that our whole aim is misdirected. We always say, let's raise children. No, we don't have to raise children. We have to raise adults. You raise a child and he would remain as a child. Raise an adult with the heart of a child, and you would have a well-adjusted, well-rounded personality of the child. And you would find that the way we treat our kids' sense of normal is what ingrains behaviors and habits which form the base of the adulthood. Who doesn't want lifetime of happiness for the children? Everybody wants it. We want them to do better in the schools. We want them to be prepared for the world. We want them to succeed. And so we have to know how to raise children. And based on my personal experience and my reading, I came up with some ideas. The first one is struggle. We normally hide the struggle. We say that the struggle that we have in our life should not be visible or passed on to the children. If you want to raise a child to be ready for the trials and tribulations of the world, shatter the illusions of parents' heroic attitude. Let them see the full cycle of handling adversity. Let your kids see your struggle, how you handle it, how you overcome it, and how, if need is there, you ask for help from others, friends, relations, society. And this witnessing of struggle would pass on to them the methodology, because the life is a struggle, the whole existence is a struggle. Second is, if the need is there, cry. Normally we keep a stiff upper lip. I know, I do. And I find it's wrong. If I feel a bit embarrassed to cry in front of my children, I know it helps the children to become at ease with sadness. They would understand that being sad is a part of life and need not be feel burdened with the need to override sad feelings. We try to override. No, we have to live with the feelings. So don't hide your feelings, and then show concern for your partner. Especially in South Asia, we are very hesitant to show concern. but it's especially important among our super busy schedules. Even a small peck on the cheese, holding of the hand shows that the parenting arrangements are not just co-living. They are intricate webs based on the personal likings and dislikes. And then it's important not to keep moving. Adjust the time so that the children can see that you're going for an exercise, you're going to move. And it's important that to have a healthy life, outdoor life is important. And if you want your children to have an outdoor life, if you want your children to enjoy the beauty of nature, if you want your children to enjoy the lapping of the waves, take them out with you. Normally, parents are more concerned with studies and the school activities. They are important, but what's more important is activities at home. As a matter of fact, both are equally important. So when the parents that take the children out to enjoy nature, it's more participative. And then volunteer. When you volunteer, your children would volunteer. And you would find that it's not you alone or the child alone, but you're a part of the whole universe. It's important for the children to feel that they're meaningful, and that when they improve and help somebody else, not just help mommy, not just help daddy, but help even the strangers, they would develop a sense of empathy. And the acrimony, the enmity, the hatred would not be there. And as a matter of fact, they'll remodel the importance of the world beyond self. We are normally keeping our children cut off from the mainstream of life. And that is self-defeating. And then another thing, make choices to spend to your means. Earn your money, but make expenses. And when you are making choices, then all the children, normally what we do is, we tell the children, don't worry about this is a responsibility, we'll do it. No. Involve your children on discussions of financial choices. Just saying a child wants something and you say, no, it's very expensive. No, that's not enough. Involve the child why it's expensive, so that the child learns the process of elimination and the process of choice to select what's needed and not to select what is not needed. And then learn yourself. Most of the important behaviors of the parents are a bit counterintuitive, as I talked in the beginning about struggling and crying. Similarly, try to show that lifelong learning is a part of living, and you have to invest time in doing so. And when the parents are learning, the children would imbibe that habit of learning. Normally what we do is we go to the school, to college, to university, and then the learning comes to an end. No. The way you act, say you are a grown-up guy and you are learning, or you are going continuing education, you are going to seminars, you are going to the workshops, you are taking up the fresh hobbies. The child would imbibe those habits by just copying. You don't have to tell a child, look here, you are studying this, why don't you take up clay modeling as a hobby or doing X, Y, Z. When you do something out of the ordinary, the child would be curious, and then the curiosity, once is aroused, would enable the child to become a better human being. So learning is important. And as you're going to age, you change your careers. So each change of the career is learning. Standing waters stagnate. Don't forget it. Change, learn, relearn, train, retrain. And when you do it, your child will do it. Read more. And the kids who see their parents reading tend to read more. It's as simple as that. They are like monkeys, copycats. Then, most important, be kind to yourself as a parent. Research has shown that students who base their self-esteem on external resources have mental health issues. Now, what are the external sources? Approval from the others. No, the self-esteem should be based on the internal resources, self-talk, adherence to the values, inculcating those values. And so when you have that self-esteem, your children will learn that self-esteem. There are better grades. There'll be lower incidence of drug, alcohol, and eating disorders. And they would be much more mentally and psychologically capable of facing the world. And in other words, what happens is the external world poses enough challenges to the child's self-esteem. So why, as a role model, should you not learn to show kindness to yourself and to children so the child develops? That doing something wrong is not bad. If you do something and forgive yourself, the child will learn to do so. And be introspective at times. Introspect. Look inward. I'm not saying go to a temple or a mosque or a church or a gurdwara. No. But take time for reflection and introspection. This is counter to the focus on achievement and acquisition. That may seem to be contradictory to the concept of succeeding, but no. Don't forget your children are human. They don't need to be only extroverts, but introverts as well. They have to reflect. Then that thought, which I call a part of the mindfulness, is important. Help ingrain the habit of introspection or reflection. What you have done today. In the evening, sit with the children and talk what you did, how you did, what was wrong in that. So the process would not only be introspection, but be kind to yourself as well. You'll be able to explain and explicate the subtleties of life in a much better manner. And last point which I want to raise, we should be careful about is, be creative. People become uninspired at work. There can be many reasons. Some reasons are deep-seated, some are not. But normally I've seen people stop being creative and contributing their handiwork to the cause. No, creativity does not mean only painting, only singing, only dancing. No, creativity is in everything, in your attitude towards life. And help ingrain the habit of the creativity in the children by showing them how happy creation can make you. It's about expressing, not accomplishing. So most important part of being creative is not accomplishment, but expression. You can be creative about anything. As I said in one of my talks earlier, you are a mom, cook perfect chapatis, perfect soup. That's creativity. Add new things. That's creativity. The way you cut and present salad, that's creativity. The way you write, the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you go about, the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you face your pain and suffering, that all is creativity, because that gives you authenticity. Show that you are authentic to your child, and that would help raise the curtain to success. And you would have well-rounded children who will be a source of pride to you, as my children are a pride to me. And as children everywhere, however far they may be, their actions give you a sense of accomplishment, of having been creative, of having achieved something in life. Do it. By that helping your children become better, you'll be helping become better thyself. Thank you.